Thank you, Chairman McGovern, Ranking Member Cole, and members of the Rules Committee. Thank you for the opportunity to testify today. And I'd like to address Amendments 631, 728, and 379. I'd like to begin by urging support for my bipartisan amendment, number 631, co-sponsored by the gentlelady from Michigan, Representative Alyssa Slotkin, to prohibit the Securities and Exchange Commission from enforcing any provision of its rulemaking on enhanced and standardization of climate-related disclosures for investors that would directly or indirectly require farmers to submit climate-related information to public companies or the SEC. Under the rule, public companies will be required to report their greenhouse gas emissions, including, in certain cases, those from their suppliers and customers, otherwise known as Scope 3 emissions. The Securities and Exchange Commission estimates the rulemaking, if finalized, will raise the cost to businesses to comply with its disclosure rules from $3.9 billion to $10.2 billion annually. The leap in expense equates to an ongoing additional cost of $420,000 a year on average for a publicly listed small company and over $500,000 a year for larger firms. Companies will pass on these costs to consumers, making things more expensive like food and beverages. Moreover, the companies that are subject to this rulemaking will be forced to obtain information from their suppliers and customers to comply with it. As a result, farmers, as a precondition to doing business with public companies, will be forced to collect and submit climate-related information to them. Because of this rulemaking, food prices will increase and have a harsh impact on our military's food costs. As you may know, the Department of Defense currently spends over $8 billion annually on food for military personnel. And according to the Cambridge University, the volume of food purchased by the American military makes it perhaps the single largest intermediated market for food in the U.S. Two of the largest suppliers of food to the military, Cisco and U.S. Foods, are large public companies that have made climate-related pledges and are subject or would be subject to the SEC's rulemaking. As a result, they will be required under this rulemaking to make disclosures about the greenhouse gas emissions in their supply chains. Last month, I led a bipartisan letter with 118 members of Congress to the SEC expressing concern about the impact of the proposed rule on farmers who do business with public companies. The Securities and Exchange Commission was never designed to be a climate regulator, and I believe my bipartisan amendment would be a good first step in refocusing the SEC's efforts on protecting investors, maintaining fair, orderly, and efficient markets, and facilitating capital formation, and away from the imposing unnecessary costs on our farmers.